two dogs had turned his attention to the chief's younger son. Owl did not lack in physical ability. His skill in hunting rabbits with throwing sticks was well known. He had displayed himself well in the fight just past, but still he preferred to think rather than fight if it came to a choice. And why, he desperately wondered, did two dogs hate him? What was it that was different, that Owl did not understand? Still depressed, he rose with a sigh and started down the hill, hitching up the thong that held his breechcloth in place. He would go and talk to his grandfather, who would surely understand. Coyote could always be relied upon to bring comfort, a smile, and perhaps some valuable advice. And he was much more approachable than Owl's father, the chief. The boy threaded his way among the conical lodges. He paused only to kick irritably at a barking dog and to send a well-aimed rock after the retreating animal. Coyote was seated in front of the lodge, propped comfortably against his willow backrest. Pungent smoke drifted from his pipe as he complacently observed the village. His bright eyes flickered everywhere, overlooking nothing, though his demeanor was one of complete relaxation. "Uncle," began Owl, using the term of address for any adult male of the people, "I would speak with you." Coyote motioned to the grass beside him and nodded. Owl sank to the squatting position of rest and waited. It was a thing of good manners to wait now until invited to speak. His grandfather did not force him to wait long. "Yes, my son," he inquired. "You are troubled." Owl blurted out his story, nearly in tears. "Tell me, grandfather, what is it?" he finished. Coyote took 3 long puffs on his stone pipe before he spoke. Finally, he knocked the dottle into his palm and tossed the ashes to the ground. He rose to his feet, placing the pipe on his willow rest. "Owl, my son, come with me. I think it is time for you to have a visit with White Buffalo." Apprehension gripped the boy. White Buffalo, the medicine man, was universally respected by the people, but also feared by the youngsters. He was very old, probably more than 50 winters, Owl thought. His wrinkled face had a perpetual look of stern disapproval, almost a scowl. True, Owl could not remember anyone who had actually been harmed by the medicine man. His medicine, however, was assumed to be very powerful. In any major tribal decision, the chiefs, even Owl's father, were dependent on White Buffalo's visions. The children at play would frighten each other with threats of the wrath of White Buffalo and speak in hushed whispers of his spells and incantations. Thus Owl's heart beat faster, and he found it difficult to swallow as they approached the lodge of the medicine man. Coyote paused outside the brightly decorated structure and called out to announce their presence. An old woman, wife of the medicine man, Owl knew, drew aside the hanging skin of the doorway and beckoned the visitors inside. "Ako, uncle," began Coyote. Owl knew that the 2 men were close friends, though White Buffalo was much the older. "I have brought Owl to speak with you." The old man nodded, and wonder of wonders, almost smiled. His eyes narrowed to wrinkled slits as he peered at the boy. He motioned them to seats on the robes beside him. "Yes, boy," he growled. "What do you want?" Owl, nearly shaking in his moccasins, could not answer. In this moment of stress, if he had been asked his own name, he probably would have missed the correct answer. He gulped a time or two and attempted to phrase his problem unsuccessfully. At last he was rescued by his grandfather. "This young man, uncle, is troubled. Owl feels that somehow he's different from other youths of the people. This makes Owl very unhappy. I have thought perhaps you might speak of these things to this young man." White Buffalo stared piercingly at his young visitor for a long moment before he answered.